I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as it plays host to the 7th race of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Getting ready here today for one of the crown jewel races of the season. Everybody wants to win Daytona, the Coke 600 at Charlotte, Darlington Raceway, and here at the home of the Yard of Bricks. Who's going to get that checkered flag here today? Who's going to potentially lock themselves into the playoffs? So far, 6 different drivers have gone to victory lane in our previous 6 races. If you didn't tune in to qualifying yesterday, all 6 of those drivers are inside of the top 30 in the point standings, so they are right now in playoff position. That includes our 2 non-charter winners, Kyler Sustre and Matthew Rodriguez. We'll give you more details on that as the race goes on. But Casey Hoyt, how about this driver? Went to victory lane for the first time in his career, only his second start at Manassas, and he captures his first pole position here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Also comes into this race as the overall points leader. So this number 74 team out of Lake Effect Autosport is firing on all cylinders here in the early going of Season 7. Alongside of him, though, keep your eye on the number 66 Pertec Chevrolet out of Evans Motorsports, that being Zachary Fitzwater in his second full-time season, because he is the defending winner of this race. Remember, last year was the first time that the next gen car was run in the Duracell Cup Series. So the 66 team, they've got a notebook that has a race-winning strategy in it. You got to think they're going to adhere to that same strategy again here, one season removed from that first career win. Now, bear in mind, though, Zachary Fitzwater is rolling off from the second position today. When he won this event 1 year ago, he ended up doing it from 13th. So will the change in scenery at the front of the field make a difference in the finishing result? We'll have to wait and see. Northeast Motorsports, they were very good in qualifying. They've got 3 of their drivers inside of the top 10, including 2 making up the second row. Reggie Fogelman, looking for his second career win, lines up on the inside of row number 2, and team owner Benjamin Miles on the outside in the number 25. These drivers, Benjamin Miles and Reggie Fogelman, come into this race inside of the top 30 in points. Fogelman is 16th. He's the highest running of the Northeast Motorsports cars right now. Benjamin Miles, 27th in the standings. A lot of drivers that we saw advance into the final round of qualifying, starting up here inside of the top 10, really need good points-paying runs as we're about midway through the first half of our regular season. Let's go down trackside, though. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports, and let's get ready to go racing at one of the most historic racetracks on the motorsports circuit.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The 900 temps for this first segment. We shouldn't really be in danger of overheating, but it will, probably get up to about 220, so just keep an eye on that.
Take a look on the right side of your screen. There's your 42 car starting lineup as the field rolls off behind the Toyota Camry TRD pace car. Point standings coming to this one look like this. Casey Hoyt, your points leader, 6 points in hand over Rob Evans, who holds a non-charter victory here at this historic racetrack, albeit on the road course configuration. That was back a few seasons ago. James Qualls, he's third in the point standings, 19 points out. Qualls rolling off from the 6th position. Jesse Turner, 4th in overall points, 20 points out. Dylan Poteet currently completes top 5. He is 30 points out of the overall points lead right now. Destin Bolin, he's looking to make it 3 Young Motorsports cars going to victory lane in a row off of Dylan Young's win at Phoenix and Will Goss's first career win last week at North Wilkesboro. He is 6th in points, 31 points out. Reese Banks having a great start to the season. He's 7th in overall points, 46 points out. 52 points back in 8th is Michael Norman. Cole Deaver is 53 points back in 9th, and Will Goss, after his victory last week, jumped up 10 spots in the standings to 10th. He is 54 points out of the points lead. Of our 6 previous winners here on the season, Casey Hoyt and Will Goss are in via top 10 in points if the playoffs were to begin right now. Levi McIntyre, Matthew Rodriguez, Dylan Young, and Kyler Sustre would be in via wildcard spots. McIntyre and Rodriguez are 11th and 12th in overall standings. Dylan Young is 21st, and Sustre is in that critical 30th points paying position. Down the long front straightaway, down to the flag stand, we are ready to go here at Indianapolis. Green flag is out. Let's roll. Reggie Fogelman wasting no time, got a nice run there out of turn 1 into turn 2, showed the nose on Casey Hoyt, not able to make the move just yet, stays in line behind the body armor Ford. RJ Bishop going to move into the 3rd spot with Michael Norman behind him in 4th. RJ Bishop, another driver out of the Young Motorsports stables, the highest qualifier of the team yesterday. 2-time winner last season was RJ Bishop. Michael Norman taking a peek to the inside, 3-time winner last year. As Fogelman going to try and make the move here, but I don't think he'll lead the first lap. That will go to Casey Hoyt in the 74. Fogelman will complete the pass, though, before they even exit out of turn number 1. That opens up the door for RJ Bishop to look for 2nd place. Reggie Fogelman, his first career win, of course, taking place back during when we had the 3 drivers per race car in Season 5. Was teamed up in a number 44 Dodge and picked up his first career victory. I'm trying to remember where it was at. I believe it was Michigan or Auto Club, one of the 2-mile racetracks. I could be wrong. Maybe it was a 1.5 miles. Trying to lead a lap here in that Hyper Ice Chevrolet. Kind of fitting that he's got the Hyper Ice sponsorship here at the very racetrack AJ Allmendinger in a Hyper Ice Chevrolet next-gen car. Ended up going to victory lane in the road course configuration. And caution is out for the first time today as the field will pick up the pace car on the back straightaway. And we got a few drivers on pit lane. Jessica Shelton, 94, is getting serviced right now. Zach Rogers in the 6. Oh, Michael Norman in the 22. Cole Deaver with a lot of damage as well in the 3. But the surprise on Michael Norman is he was running up towards the front. He was up in the top 5, I think. Destin Bolin. Looks like his day may be over early as a lot of smoke pouring from underneath the Maxwell House Ford Mustang. Connor Breeton's got damage on his Chevrolet. And there may be a couple of others peppered through the field here with damage. Yep, Daniel Voiles. He's got some damage on the front end of his machine. One would have to assume this started with the 22 because he was running pretty close up to the front of the field. He was around the 5th, 6th, 7th position. As pit road will be open, and probably, yeah, I was going to say most everybody would probably be coming to pit road here. Not sure what the fuel window is, but I know they can't make it the 64-lap distance on what they started in the tank. Looks like Shelton's leaving pit road now, so she should remain on the lead lap. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. Then we'll come back and see the fallout of the pit stops. Michael had good qualifying effort, 7th place. And looks like maybe he and Zachary Fitzwater might be the two that get together here. This is out of turn 4, heading onto the front straightaway. Hard to tell there if the 22 crowded the 66 or not, but then Norman gets Destin Bolin and it keeps going. Reese Banks was in it. Keith Batson was in it. Quentin Moore, I think, got a piece. Connor Breeton's getting spun by, is that, I believe, Matt McIntyre. Matt McIntyre headed for pit road. There's Cole Deaver. There's Jessica Shelton. Zach Rogers had to call a tow. His whole right front was ripped off. So let's focus here on the 12 of Destin Bolin. We'll go back and look again at the contact between Norman and Fitzwater. Oh, there's the head. Daniel Voiles, Matt McIntyre hard into the wall. Cole Deaver, Jessica Shelton. There's Reese Banks, Batson, Breeton, Moore, and Rogers. The track just completely blocked up there off of turn number 4. And we'll take another look at the contact between Norman and Fitzwater. This track is very difficult with entries and exits usually intersecting with each other. The question is, did Norman come down, did Fitzwater come up, or was it a combination of both? Here it is again. Almost looks like Norman was doing the arc into the corner. Fitzwater entered shallow and may have pushed up. He was driving somewhat straight into the corner. And that's a tough break there for Michael Norman, who not only had the good qualifying effort, but also was 8th in overall points. Looks like his day is going to be over. Zach Rogers, I would have to assume the same can be said for him, as he was not able to drive it back to pit road. Still waiting for the official wording on all the drivers that are not going to be able to continue, as a couple of drivers coming down pit road, getting some repairs done. A few of them look like have been pushed back behind the wall. Tentatively, I've got a list of 6 drivers that are out of the race. Daniel Voiles, Destin Bolin, Cole Deaver, Michael Norman, Matt McIntyre, and Zach Rogers. Man, we were hyping up Matt McIntyre yesterday in qualifying, with this being his hometown track. Just recently moved back into Hoosier country. It's the first time that he's been to Indianapolis in a Duracell Cup Series race since Season 2. And boy, I bet he was obviously hoping for a lot better of a result here today than a 41st place finish. He was 21st on the starting grid this afternoon. Zach Rogers, that team just cannot seem to find any kind of momentum, any kind of foothold. They had a decent outing last week at North Wilkesboro, gained a few spots in the standings, but they were still 37th. Daniel Voiles, another driver that has really struggled this season, and it will continue with his DNF, 36th in points, still searching for his first top 10 in the year. Remember, Voiles was a multi-time winner last year. Destin Bolin, this is around the point of last season that he started getting hot, picked up 3 victories in 5 races right around the just before and just after the All-Star race break. Destin came into this race, if I can find him on the chart, 6th in overall points, so he, like Michael Norman, is going to take a bit of a hit. Cole Deaver, another driver that came into this race running very well in points, had 3 top 10s in the first 6 races, 9th in overall points. So that is 6th, 8th, and 9th in the standings out of the race. Jessica Shelton has returned to the track after repairs have been done to her race car. Same for Connor Breeton and Keith Batson. We've got the lights out atop the pace car. There was the consideration of double file restarts here. NNSCRA officials choosing for single file restarts instead. So they will not double up over here when they get to turn number 3. Nathan Ormond, the number 23, elected to stay out. The only driver who did under this caution. So he'll be the race leader. We had a mixture of strategies on pit road. Some drivers going with fuel only, some electing to take tires. Your fuel only drivers are going to restart up in the 2nd through 5th positions, that being Reggie Fogelman, Anthony McCurry, James Qualls, and Nick Gunther. RJ Bishop in 6th was the first one to take on tires. 7th place Joshua Osborne, Zachary Fitzwater in 8th, Kyle Matthews and Benjamin Miles will be the top 10. 36 drivers still running after our first caution of the day. All 36 on the lead lap at this point in time. Nathan Ormond, who gained a ton of track position with the strategy of staying out, though he'll be about 3, 4, 5 laps shorter on fuel than everybody else behind him. Gets ready to bring us down to get us back underway. Lap 6 will be completed. Lap 7 goes on the board. Ormond 24th in the standings coming into today, so maybe the team feeling that they have to pull a somewhat unorthodox strategy, do something different from everybody else. We'll see if it pans out in their favor or not. But Reggie Fogelman wants to get back to the point. All over the back bumper of the Disney Plus Ford is the Hyper-Race Chevrolet. And how about the Mazda of Anthony McCurry and his teammate right behind him, Nick Gunther. The Mazdas looked really good in qualifying yesterday. Anthony 9th, advanced into the final round of qualifying, and Nick Gunther 15th in today's starting lineup. McCurry getting to the left rear quarter panel of Reggie Fogelman, trying to use that side draft, draw the 24 back, and then be able to make the move for the 2nd spot here through 1 and 2. James Qualls right behind him as they're stacked up double wide, about 2-3 rows deep. Nick Gunther going to have to back out of that, it looks like. RJ Bishop the same. How about the teammates out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports there? The similarly colored red, white, and green number 70 of Qualls and number 27 of Joshua Osborne. Qualls up into 3rd, Osborne into 4th. James Qualls looking for that first victory of the season, trying to end the long winless streak. We've had a couple of winless streaks ended here this season already, in the case of Matthew Rodriguez at Daytona and Levi McIntyre at Pocono. Dylan Young had a winless streak as well when he got his checkered flag at Phoenix. He was riding a season-plus long winless streak. Zachary Fitzwater just hovering there in that 5th position. Keep an eye on him. As Osborne looks to make the move for 3rd on his teammate. McCurry with a run here, shows the nose. Oh, almost contact there as he drove it in deep. Ormond tried to throw the block. McCurry says nothing doing. And he's going to go for the race lead. Is the Black Magic Design Mazda, not able to get the run there off of turn 4. Outside line prevailed for Nathan Ormond. That's something to keep in mind later on in this race. If a driver makes a move in 3 and 4 on the inside, there is the chance for the driver on the outside to be able to hold them off down the front straightaway back to the yard of bricks. McCurry gets clear for 2nd place as Qualls tried to use that run off of Ford, a battle back. Looks like there's not very much grip up on the top side through 1 and 2. Curry trying to try again. Gets that run down the back straightaway. Looks to the inside of Ormond into 3. Can he get back to the throttle through the center of 3 and 4, though, is the question. Ormond's got that preferred outside line, and he will use it to his benefit and keep Anthony 61 in the rearview mirror at least one more time. Meanwhile, back here, 3rd place battle. Benjamin Miles to the inside of Joshua Osborne. Been a long winless streak for Benjamin Miles as well. Going all the way back to before he went into semi-retirement. turning over what was then the number 33 out of Northeast Motorsports to Jacob Thibodeau. Curry finally makes the pass for the lead. Miles going to go to second. Nathan Ormond trying to put both the Mazdas out of Fortnite Squad Racing on the podium here as he takes a look for third place. Miles wants the lead. Ooh, got a nice run there out of turn 3. Can he make it stick here into turn 4? He can. Look at that. Made the inside line work. So he's got a very good handling race car, obviously. Much better than Anthony McCurry, who could not make the pass on the inside through 3 and 4 when he was trying to get around Ormond. And Benjamin Miles is going to get himself a bonus point for leading that lap. Second Northeast Motorsports Chevrolet to lead a lap today. Reggie Fogelman being the first. Nick Gunther's going to move into second place, and now Ormond will get back to third. Dylan Young right behind him there in the fourth position. Dylan Young, the highest running of the former winners on the season. We've yet to have a repeat winner. 6 different drivers winning in the first 6 races. Another former winner is not that far back. You just barely see the red and white number 80 Steak and Shake Toyota Camry of Matthew Rodriguez out of Haas Racing, our Daytona 500 winner. He was 10th last time by. There he is, the outside of the Carvana Chevrolet, Cody Lamas. Matthew Rodriguez, non-charter driver. He's missed a couple of races this season, but in the races he's been in, including his Daytona win, he is still 12th in overall standings. He is still in a wild card position. Wow, what a move there by James Qualls. Did you see that? He went from top to bottom through turns 1 and 2 and made passes on both Ryan Butcher and Reggie Fogelman. That was a very impressive pass there by James Qualls, but he is starting to drift back. How about the Blue Oval Automotive cars here, nose to tail? Former champion Caleb Fogler and the number 28, and right behind him, the most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series, Jose Mills. Talk about a driver that's had a winless streak. Mills, been a long time since he's got that last victory. You want to talk about champions? Kyle Matthews is now up here. He is into the, I believe, 3rd position now. He was scored 6th last time by, but made a pass on a few drivers there through 1 and 2. Oh no, actually, correction. We've got 3 drivers up here, so he is 6th position. Kyle Matthews coming into this one in the 41st position in points. That is next to last of the drivers that have taken evergreen flags so far this season. We're a few weeks removed from when Kyle Matthews got his first win last year at Coke Zero Super Speedway. The other driver that's lower than him in the point standings, though, of all that have run full-time this season, is Nick Gunther, and he's up here in the 2nd position. Nick 42nd in overall points, so as a matter of fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 5 lowest in points that have made all 6 starts are up inside of the top 10, that being Caleb Fogler, Joshua Osborne, Jose Mills, Kyle Matthews, and Nick Gunther. So you think they don't realize that now is the time to turn up the wick, now is the time to get the season turned around? Try and give yourself a reasonable shot when we get to the All-Star break. 3-car breakaway up here at the front. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, Miles, Gunther, and Young. Then back here they're stacked up with Kyle Matthews, Joshua Osborne, Cody Lamas, and more. The gap right now from Dylan Young back to Nathan Ormond last time by was a 1.5 seconds. We'll see what it is between Young and Matthews this time. That's a pretty sizable gap. I'm not sure that they can overcome that unless they get into a single file formation like they're doing right now. Certainly don't want to make this a 3-car race. Yeah, that last time by, gap from Dylan Young back to Kyle Matthews, 2.6 seconds, almost 2.7. Let's see if them getting lined up here single file, if they can reel in that top 3. They need the top 3 to start racing each other. That would help them out a lot. Now they will a little bit there. Dylan Young trying to make a pass on Nick Gunther through 3 and 4, but did not have the momentum, didn't have draft behind him to be able to give him a push. And now these three have gotten themselves rather spaced out. This is not an orderly single file formation, which could help Kyle Matthews and the others be able to reel them in. That last time by, they gained about a 1/10 and a half. How about Dylan Pote working his way up here in the number 31? We've documented that both Dylan Pote and James Qualls, they've not exactly been the best when it comes to qualifying, but they've been very good when it comes to race day. Right now, James Qualls back in the 12th position. We saw him up at the front a little bit earlier. Dylan Pote, who started 24th, is now battling with Cody Lamas, and that would be for 7th, which he will take out of turn number 4. Correction, that was actually a pass for 6th. Jose Mills with a run down the front straightaway, looking for 4th place on Kyle Matthews. These drivers continue to battle amongst themselves for the latter spots inside of the top 5. Nathan Ormond coming off of pit lane. That was a regularly scheduled stop for the 23. Bear in mind, he did not come to pit road under our only caution of the day, electing to stay out, gain the track position, and lead us to the green. And now with him on pit road, that means that we're about maybe 3 to 5 laps away from when these drivers are going to have to hit pit lane. So it looks like the fuel window somewhere in the 17 to 19 lap range. Looks like Nick Gunther might have been peeling off to come to pit road. Indeed he is. Kyle Matthews going to be coming down this time as well. Looks like Jesse Turner further back, also coming down pit lane. Let's see if the undercut strategy works. James Qualls was already on pit road in the 70. Let's see where those drivers that were some of the first to dive onto pit lane, where they cycle around to. Remember, Qualls was just outside the top 10. Nick Gunther and Kyle Matthews were inside the top 10. Gunther was 2nd when he came to pit lane. We'll see if they gain or lose track position with this strategy call. I mean, Benjamin Miles, last time by, only ran about 0.4 of a second slower than his fastest lap, so it doesn't seem like there's a super whole lot of tire fall off. But Miles is coming in this time. Dylan Young looks like he's also slowing to come down pit road. Dylan Pote's going to stay out, though, as Osborne and looked like that was Ryan Butcher back there coming to pit lane. And Dylan Pote will get himself a lap-led bonus point. Kyler Sustre up here inside the top 5 now, 4th position. Kyler, former winner this season from Las Vegas, non-charter driver. 30th in overall points. It's been easy the last couple of weeks for drivers like Kyler Sustre and Matthew Rodriguez to make the field, as we've not had a huge number of non-charter drivers trying to make the field. We've had really only 42 drivers last couple of weeks try to make the race, so everybody was locked in regardless of their starting position. Next week, that will be entirely different, as looks like our race leader's coming in, and everybody in this lead pack is coming in. Kyle Matthews, Nathan Ormond, who've already been to pit lane, Jesse Turner, they're staying out. We'll wait to see where they cycle around to. Doesn't look like anybody else is staying out here. Everybody else that did not pit with this group have already made the trip to pit lane. So, as Dylan Pote pulls into his pit stall, let's see if we can find the 55 of Nick Gunther, because he would have been the highest running of the drivers when they dove onto pit lane. Well, correction, there you go. There's Miles, Dylan Young just now exiting out ahead of Nick Gunther. So it looks like that group of 3 that we had at the beginning that may be back together here. Dylan Young wants the race lead, trying to take advantage with those fresher tires. Nick Gunther with a big run. Does he maybe try and take it 3 wide? No, he'll stay with Dylan Young, push Dylan Young to the race lead. Well, I say the race lead. It will cycle around potentially to the race lead, as now Nick Gunther's going to make the pass on the 2. Nick Gunther, a 4-time winner last season. It was the breakout year for Mazda. And now trying to see if he can get Mazda a victory here in Season 7. Connor Breton with no hood. Jessica Shelton, we know, is off the pace. She was involved in that incident, the only caution of the day so far. So there will be some traffic for Nick Gunther to deal with. Oh, contact right there. Little door banging between Benjamin Miles and Dylan Young, and we saw what the end result of something like that was back when Zachary Fitzwater and Michael Norman got together. Put 6 drivers back in the garage area with that big wreck off of 4 and onto the front straightaway, so you want to be careful with that. Caution's out. That's a big break for everybody that was way behind these 3. But the yellow flag's out. This changes up everything, and Jessica Shelton is going to remain on the lead lap as a result. What brought out this yellow flag? Well, nobody will be on pit road, I guarantee you that, unless maybe some drivers towards the back want to top off the fuel tank to make it a little bit further on fuel. What did this caution fly for? I don't see any smoke anywhere on the racetrack. This one will be interesting to go back and try and figure out. Going to utilize the pace car and when the lights came on to try and figure this one out. But second caution of the day, going to bunch everybody back up. Oh, we did have a wreck. It was over in turn 3. It's like Matt Haas and James Qualls getting together. Let's try and figure this one out. I think Haas had just returned to the track. Qualls makes the move to the inside, and I don't know if he gets a bump from behind from Anthony McCurry that sends him into the left rear of Matt Haas, or if he just drove it in deep and Haas didn't give him a lot of room, maybe. I don't know, but contact made between those two, and it brings out the yellow flag. Tough break there for James Qualls. Not sure where he was going to cycle around to, but it looked like it would have been somewhere in the vicinity of 12th or 13th. Haas would have obviously been around that area as well. Here's another look of them coming down the back straightaway here. Yeah. Qualls had a run. Haas had just come off of pit road, and that's another driver running very well in the point standings that's going to have some damage here for the remainder of this race, that being James Qualls, 19 points out of the points lead, 3rd in overall standings, as we did have a number of drivers hit pit road, including the driver who cycled out to the race lead, Nick Gunther. Looks like Dylan Young came to pit road as well from 3rd place, but Benjamin Miles, who was 2nd, he elected to stay out, along with Dylan Pote, Cody Lamas, I believe back through Will Goss, who is in 13th place. Those drivers, they all stayed out. So we got a mixture of strategy here. I don't believe anybody, even with those that just came to pit road, anybody would be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. They would probably have to pit at least one more time, but those drivers that just came to pit lane, they might absolutely be able to make it one more time. The rest of the drivers, they might have to pit one more time and then come down pit road for a splash of fuel near the end. We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. Well, I mentioned about how next week things are going to be interesting for the non-charter drivers. We've got a number of non-charter drivers that are entered to try and make next week's race, but next week as well, it will not be a 42-car field. We are going to be heading to our first road course stop on the season at the Mid-Ohio Sports Course, and if I remember correctly, I believe it will be only a 39-driver field. That's the most that they are able to hold on pit road, which means that some of our charter drivers are in danger of potentially missing out on next week's race. Should be very interesting to see how that all falls out. That qualifying will be next Saturday afternoon, and then later on that afternoon, it's the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers at Mid-Ohio. Then these Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers will be on the Mid-Ohio Sports Course the following Sunday, 1 week from today. Well, while we got the opportunity here under caution, second caution of the day, We're going to step aside for a quick race break and then be back here to the action. Get ready for the restart from Indianapolis as you are continuing to watch the 7th race of the 7th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Lights have gone out atop the Toyota Camry TRD pace car. We're going back green on lap 26. Benjamin Miles out in front. Dylan Poteet will be second. Cody Lamas, Zachary Fitzwater, Anthony McCurry. That is your top 5. Jesse Turner, Austin LaPlante, Reggie Fogelman, Levi McIntyre, and Quentin Moore will be your top 10. Chris Dollerton, Will Goss, 11th and 12th. Those drivers I just listed off, they did not come to pit road here under this yellow flag. Granted, we were only 2-3 laps away removed from when these drivers had come down pit road under green flag conditions. The drivers behind them, though, they did come to pit road to at least top off the fuel tank. Jose Mills, the highest of those, in 13th. Ryan Butcher, 14th. And Nick Gunther, who pitted from the race lead, is going to restart back in the 15th position. 36 drivers, all running, all on the lead lap of those remaining. 6 drivers back behind the wall after our first caution of the day, those being Daniel Voiles, Destin Bolin, Cole Deaver, Michael Norman, Matt McIntyre, and Zach Rogers. Benjamin Miles has led the most laps so far here today. He's led a total of 11 circuits, soon to be 12. Nathan Ormond has led 8 laps out in front. And then 1 lap led apiece for drivers Dylan Poteet, Reggie Fogelman, Nick Gunther, Dylan Young, and Casey Hoyt, who we really have not talked about today after he got the pole position. The points leader is mired back all the way in the 30th position right now. So he's got a lot of work to do to get back up here to the front, finish where he started, and maybe get his second win on what's been a very young rookie season. Green flag back in the air. Benjamin Miles up through the gears. Chevrolet's holding the top 4 positions here for this restart. Then the Mazda of Anthony McCurry, the Ford of Jesse Turner. Second place battle, Cody Lamas to the inside of Dylan Poteet. Second full-time season for Cody Lamas as an owner-driver at Lama Racing. Last year was, well, I guess the growing pains. This year, though, much better. 14th in overall points in the first 6 races and looking very good here today in that Carvana Chevrolet Camaro. Zachary Fitzwater right behind him. Been up here all day long inside of the top 10 trying to get that second straight victory here at the Yard of Bricks. Cody Lamas with the draft of the 66 and the big run down the front straightaway, easily going to make the pass on Benjamin Miles, and he will go to the point. Dylan Poteet making the pass on Benjamin Miles, trying to clear up for third. He will do so. Austin LaPlante, another of the Northeast Motorsports cars, looked really good in qualifying, now taking the 5th position. That was close right in front of him. Benjamin Miles with the late move to the inside of Dylan Poteet. Those two nearly made some contact. How about Levi McIntyre? Former winner on the season. Back at Pocono. 11th in overall points, trying to work his way up into the top 10. Last time by, he was scored in 7th. Good run for him here today. Another owner-driver, kind of like Cody Lamas, over at Shadow Cult Racing. Inaugural champion of the series, Chris Dollerton, now up in the 8th position. Good run for him. We saw his teammates Caleb Fogler and Jose Mills up here inside the top 10 in the early going. Dollerton 32nd in points. That's a driver that really could use a good run here today. And One driver we haven't talked about today either. I mentioned about Casey Hoyt dropping to the back. We've not talked about Rob Evans, second in points at all, and he's also back around the same area as Casey Hoyt. They're 29th and 30th right now. Neither driver having a very good performance so far at Indianapolis. Teammates battle for the third position. LaPlante's going to take it from Miles here, exiting out of turn 2. Meanwhile, up ahead, got a battle for the race lead. Zachary Fitzwater trying to make the move on Cody Lamas. Looked like he had to lift out of the throttle off of 2, did Fitzwater, because look at the gap opening up down the back straightaway for Cody. Fitzwater will look to close that back up here through 3 and 4. Nice turn 3. Let's see if he can keep that momentum going through turn 4. Might have a run here on the front straightaway. Now looked like Cody was a little better that time through turn 4. Let's see if the slipstream down the front straightaway helps Fitzwater to be able to make a move down to turn 1. Nope, I don't think he's close enough to do it. Nick Gunther on fresh tires after he gave up the lead to come to pit road, working his way back up into the top 10. Just trying to make a move there on Jesse Turner, not able to do so just yet. Here's our winner from a week ago, Will Goss. Got to be a lot of confidence for him after capturing that first career victory. First full-time season for Will Goss. They're out of Young Motorsports after winning the Showcase Championship last season, that short 5-race stint. Last time by, Goss was scored in 14th. He's picked up a couple of spots on this lap since then. We'll see where he's scored this time by. 13th position for driver 11. Will Goss 10th in overall points. He's already got the checkered flag, but he'd love to also make a playoff appearance as a rookie. We had a lot of rookies make the playoffs last season, including Zachary Fitzwater. You also had Rick Johnson. You had Destin Bolin. I know I'm going to forget some of them. As Cody Lamas slips past Zachary Fitzwater once again for the race lead. Fitzwater had crossed over Cody out of turn 2. Lamas takes it back into turn 3. And this battling is going to bring more Chevrolets into the picture. LaPlante, Miles, Dylan Poteet. Cody Lamas trying to play defense here, trying to run whatever line Fitzwater wants to run, put the dirty air on the nose, get him arrow tight, not allow him to get that drive up off the corner to be able to then get the run down the long straightaways. LaPlante's going to step out for second place on Fitzwater. That's going to help Cody Lamas for the moment, keep them stacked up double wide behind him. Neither lane will be able to generate a run here through 3 and 4. Ooh, Fitzwater got tight there up on the top. Saw him have to lift. That checked up Benjamin Miles behind him. Allows Poteet to get a run for 4th place on the 25. Levi McIntyre trying to offer some draft to Poteet. He's making the move on Anthony McCrory. Fitzwater up ahead, trying to make a move again. This time on Cody Lamas for second place. I'm sorry, make that on Austin LaPlante for second place, I should say. These drivers went back green, if I recall correctly, on lap 26, am I right? 25 or 26. So they'll be on pit road again within the next 10, 11 laps. Some of them potentially sooner, since we had about 12, 13 drivers that did not come to pit lane, so they'd be about 1, 2 laps shorter on fuel than others. One thing I was going to mention, though, as well, was we ended up talking about the strategy of short pitting. We had a number of drivers that elected to do that under that last long green flag run. Nick Gunther was one of the first drivers to do so. And what ended up happening for him? He cycled out to the race lead. So I think a lot of drivers will be looking at that potentially, if we have another round of green flag pit stops, you may see a lot more drivers dive onto pit road a little bit earlier than they may have to in the thought process of, well, it worked out for the 55, it may work out for me as well. Great battling up here at the front. A couple of Jimmy Johnson fans, as you can clearly tell by the liveries. Cody Lama's going to edge out LaPlante for that lap there, though. LaPlante will have the preferred inside line into turn 1. And he will clear for the top position. His teammate Benjamin Miles right behind him. Going to move into the second place. So Northeast Motorsports 1-2. Nick Gunther on what I would assume the freshest tires of everybody up here at the front. Now going to move into third position. It's a bit of a gap back here. Ninth place Dylan Young back to his teammate Will Goss in 10th. And remember I mentioned about Rob Evans, how he was back around the 30th position? Well, he found something, because now he is up in the 11th spot and reeling in Will Goss for a spot inside of the top 10. Matthew Rodriguez right there behind him as well. Oh, and we've got some pitters. Benjamin Miles and Chris Dollerton are coming down pit lane, and those were some of the drivers that elected to stay out under the last yellow flag. So we might be expecting to see just about everybody on pit road within the next 5 laps. A great comeback run there for Rob Evans, who just ran his fastest lap of the race right there, 51.125. And looks like Jesse Turner, Anthony McCurry had also made pit stops here. We'll see where they cycle around to. But Casey Hoyt in the 74, has he made forward progress? No, he's back in 23rd, so Evans, who was only 6 points behind Casey Hoyt, could be poised and ready if he continues to run where he is to be taking the points lead into Mid-Ohio next week. Matthew Rodriguez, he was going to make a pass on Will Goss for 10th place, but he's coming to pit road this time, as are most of our race leaders. LaPlante, Cody Lamas, Zachary Fitzwater, Levi McIntyre in this lap, Dylan Poteet as well. That will cycle the race lead over, I believe, to Nick Gunther. So Gunther went with the short pit strategy last time. Since he came to pit road under the yellow flag, he probably will now go a little bit longer than everybody else. The short pit moved him to the race lead. Let's see where the long pit is going to cycle him to. Yeah, with everybody pitting right now, there is no way they're going to be able to make it the rest of the way. They're going to have to make at least one more pit stop. At least one more pit stop. They might have to make 2. Gunther's going to stay out an extra lap. Evans is coming in, though. Dylan Young, Will Goss, Jose Mills. It's like RJ Bishop, Carson Gum. They're looking to go a little bit longer here on this run. Reese Banks as well in the 44. Bishop is cycled up to 2nd place behind Gunther. Carson Gum up to 3rd. Reese Banks in 4th. Now Reese Banks, you see here, he's got some damage. Rear bumper cover missing. The rear spoiler on the right side up in the air a little bit more. Kind of a bit of a parachute there for him. But he appears to still be up to speed. That damage, he was involved in that incident off of turn 4, our first caution of the day. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too badly right now. Kyle Matthews, Kyler Sustre, Laura Chung, Mitchell Collins, and Joshua Osborne are the remaining drivers to come to pit lane, along with the ones I mentioned before. Gunther's in, Carson Gum's in. Looks like everybody else is coming in that hasn't already been to pit road. The remaining 9 drivers, so who does this cycle the race lead over to is going to be the question. Does Nick Gunther retain the lead? Or does Cody Lamas, who appears to be the highest running up-to-speed car right now, does he cycle around back to the front? Rob Evans, looks like he's going to cycle out into a decent spot here, maybe 3rd or 4th position. We're now watching the battle of the 84 versus the 55 as to who's going to be the leader when everything is said and done. Levi McIntyre all over the back bumper of Cody Lamas, but looks like those two might be working together right now to kind of 2-car tandem, get away from the 65 of Evans and leapfrog the 55 of Nick Gunther. There's RJ Bishop. There's Carson Gum. Next car would be Nick Gunther, which they probably will catch him over here on the back straightaway. Yep, there he is up ahead. Gunther trying to get up to speed as quickly as he can, but I think that Cody Lamas is going to have a ton of momentum. His tires are going to be warmed up, so he'll have the optimal grip. He's going to try around the outside of Nick Gunther here into turn 3. And he will clear. Gunther got tight on the exit of 3, and Cody Lamas should this next time around jump up to P1 on the board. Levi McIntyre made the pass around Nick Gunther for what will eventually be second. And Gunther will cycle into third. Yep, 84, P1 now at the start-finish line. Dylan Poteet will be fourth. Austin LaPlante fifth. Rob Evans will cycle around to sixth. Will Goss, he's going to be 7th. 8th place will be Chris Dollerton. Matthew Rodriguez 9th. And Jesse Turner is going to be the 10th position. Anthony McCurry will be in the 11th spot. 12th place, Dylan Young. 13th is going to be Benjamin Miles. 14th, Carson Gum. At 15th place is going to be Reese Banks, despite that damage. 16th place, Kyle Matthews. Nathan Ormans in 17th. 18th place will be Jose Mills. 19th, RJ Bishop. And Laura Chung, who started shotgun on the field, is going to be 20th. 21st under contest, give it to Caleb Fogler. 22nd place will be where Kyler Sustre falls back to. 23rd, Ryan Brommer. Reggie Fogelman will be 25th. 26th place will be Charles Sanford. Mitchell Collins in 27th. 28th place. I'm sorry, actually, correction. Sanford is 25th. Collins 26th. 27th will be Zachary Fitzwater. Quentin Moore in 28th. Our pole sitter, Casey Hoyt, points leader, all the way back in 29th position. Joshua Osborne will be 30th. 31st, Keith Batson. 32nd, Ryan Butcher. 33rd, Matt Haas. James Qualls back here in 34th. 35th position will be Connor Breton, and Jessica Shelton, I believe, has just been put a lap down. Yes, she has. She's the last car running. Only car 1 lap down in the 36th position. She's holding up that top line with LaPlante, Evans, and Dylan Young. They're going to have to wait until all the way back to Carson Gum in the 14th position gets by before they can get around the 94. Not a whole lot of opportunity for 3 wide here at a track like this. Oh man, look at the momentum of that second group too. These guys got to hurry. Dylan Young's already gotten to the inside. Evans going to get to the inside. LaPlante's going to be the biggest loser out of this because he's not going to have momentum, and that group with Kyle Matthews and Reese Banks are closing in, so they may lose more spots. Nick Gunther's been kicked up to the top side there. Jesse Turner, look at the inside of him. That would be for around the, I believe, 7th or 8th position. It was for 7th, Turner taking that spot. Problem's not over for the race leaders. There's another slow car up ahead that they're going to encounter, and that is Connor Breton. So they're going to have to be careful here, making their way around him. There you see him, left side of your screen on the same straightaway. How about some of these drivers and picking up the spots they did during that cycle of pit stops? Will Goss up to the 3rd spot. Matthew Rodriguez up to 6th. And before he got held up behind Shelton, Rob Evans had cycled his way up into the top 5. Looks like Cody Lamas going to catch a break here. He's going to encounter the 88 on the front straightaway. He'll make the move down here into turn 1. Top 3 single file behind him, but they're stacked up double wide further back here. That's not exactly good for Dylan Poteet or Anthony McCurry. I think they see the situation and they're trying to find a space in line down on the bottom. Dollerton with a little trouble there through 1 and 2, getting to the inside of Connor Breton. Now he, Matthew Rodriguez, and Jesse Turner will complete those passes. Yeah, Poteet's going to get stuck behind the 88, as will McCurry, unless Breton blocks the inside line and Poteet can swing around the top. The longer they fool around with the slower machine, though, the quicker the drivers behind are going to reel them in. None of these drivers were able to get around Breton there through 3 and 4, and now Carson Gum gets a run. Poteet's going to tuck down in front of Nick Gunther. Gunther, I think, was hoping for the same courtesy from Dylan Young. He didn't get it. Dylan Young now held up behind the 88. He'll look to the inside finally out of turn number 2. It's not a case of being able to blow the doors off the slower cars. They're having to be very cautious, very meticulous in the passes that they make. Back up at the front, second place under contest, Will Goss. Looking to the inside of Levi McIntyre. A couple of former winners, 10th and 11th in points respectively. And Goss, nice pass there. Out of turn 4 on the inside line. Cody Lamas, though, continuing to show the way. Cody qualified 13th place here today. He's been out in front for 13 laps, and the yellow flag is out. Caution on the racetrack for the 3rd time today, right around the point where these drivers would have been able to make it on fuel, so fuel may no longer be a concern. And what happened? Oh, I think maybe the lap car of Connor Breton might have been in the middle of this, and Ryan Brommer in the 87 has appeared to pay the price of it. Ryan Brommer on a bit of a skid as of late. Dropped 5 spots in the standings after North Wilkesboro last week. Was 20th in overall points coming to this one. I'll be shocked if anybody stays out. I think everybody's coming to pit road here under this caution period. Let's take a look and see what happened here with Ryan Brommer and Connor Breton. Brommer was running in the 23rd position at the time, and I believe the contact does not start with him and Breton. I think it might be Rob Evans that gets into the 88 here. This is going into 3. Oh no, Nick Gunther. Nick Gunther, Nathan Ormond. And then Brommer gets into the 87, and wow, Quentin Moore just barely got low enough to avoid running into Breton's 88. Yeah, they had him split 3 wide. And that's going to be some damage for Nick Gunther. Gunther was looking like a contender for the win today, but after that damage, I'm not certain just how up to speed that car is going to be. And let's take an onboard with the Buc-ee's Chevrolet of Quentin Moore. Let's take a look at how close this was to nearly being a plow for driver 89. Watch this. Saw the smoke, you heard him bail out of the throttle, and that may have been what saved him. If he kept his foot in the throttle, probably wouldn't have had as much turnability to be able to get low enough to avoid the front end of the 88. Speaking of Quentin Moore, interesting strategy out of the 89 camp. Everybody was on pit road except for him. I honestly do not understand this strategy because projected everybody that came to pit road, if they got it completely full of fuel, they can make it the rest of the way. They won't have to pit. Quentin Moore must be of the assumption there's going to be another caution and it'll draw everybody back to pit road for tires or something. I don't agree with this strategy, but maybe they know something that I don't know. He'll be the one to get us back green, though. Cody Lamas First on, first off of pit road. Will restart in second place. Will Goss will be third. Matthew Rodriguez will be fourth. Fifth place, Chris Dollerton. Then Jesse Turner, Dylan Pote, Rob Evans. Then looks like Dylan Young and Carson Gum going to be the top 10. Biggest loser on all of that was Levi McIntyre. He was third when that caution came out. And he's going to restart back in 12th position. So I'm wondering if maybe some of these drivers up here ahead of him went with just fuel only, maybe fuel 2 tires and he went with 4 tires, or if they went with fuel only and he went with 2 tires. So he might have a Goodyear advantage potentially on the rest of the field. One of the big questions that I specifically had coming into this one was this going to be one of those tracks where track position was going to be important? Now, granted, the way that the cautions have fallen might have played a bit into this situation, but how about Laura Chung in the 77? Slated to restart in the 11th position. Laura Chung started this race from dead last, and she is up here now with a chance to knock on the door of the top 10. Caleb Fogler, who shared the final row with her, is actually back in the 16th position as well, and we saw him up in the top 10 earlier on in this race. So that says to me that, again, maybe the cautions and the green flag pit stops obviously playing their part into this, but it does not look like track position was that much of a key factor here today. I mean, Quentin Moore, our race leader, yes, it's based off of strategy right now, but he started 40th in today's race. So very interesting the way this one is played out, and we've still got a long ways to go. I mean, if the lights go out atop the pace car this next time by, we're going to get the restart with 15 laps remaining. And 15 laps at Indianapolis, it's not fast. It's not quick. It's a 2.5-mile quad oval. It takes them some time to make it around this racetrack, a little under a minute. And a lot can happen between now and that checkered flag. There were 2 drivers that DNF'd from our most recent third yellow flag of the day. The 2 drivers that got the biggest amount of damage out of all that, Ryan Brommer, he'll get credit for 35th, and Connor Breton will be 36th. They join Daniel Voiles, Destin Bolin, Cole Deaver, Michael Norman, Matt McIntyre, and Zach Rogers in the garage area. 34 drivers still running, 33 on the lead lap. Jessica Shelton, the only lap machine. Update on Nick Gunther, who clearly got damage when he hooked Breton in the right rear and got up into the wall. No damage repair done on the 55 Mazda. They came down pit road, did a normal routine service, and he's returned to the racetrack, slated to restart in the 15th position. So that will be something to keep our eyes on. Nathan Ormond in the 23. He had that front end damage. They did spend some extra time on pit road working on the front end of his race car, but he has returned to the racetrack. He'll restart on the lead lap in 29th. 15 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Quentin Moore, who got his first career victory last season in a coast-to-coast effort at Dover, looking to win on one of the most historic racetracks on the circuit here. He'll get us back underway. Lap 50 on the board. Cody Lamas going to waste no time looking to the inside of Quentin Moore, looking to go back to the point. Cody Lamas has led the most laps so far here today at 14. That betters the 13 led earlier today by Benjamin Miles. So right now Cody Lamas in possession of that most laps led bonus point. Matthew Rodriguez will slot into second. Chris Dollerton now looking to move into the podium in third as he'll complete the pass around Quentin Moore. Turner will move into fourth. Dylan Young now up to fifth. Here come the Fords. 3, 4, 5 right now for the Blue Ovals. And Rodriguez will make the move to the inside of Cody Lamas for the top position. Matt Rod already has a crown jewel victory this year at the Daytona 500. What if he's able to then double down and get another crown jewel win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? We've got Darlington coming up in about 6 weeks. Charlotte, of course, going to be immediately after the All-Star break. All 4 of the crown jewel races in the early portion of the schedule. But boy, for Rodriguez, if he's able to get another victory here, that'd be huge, because we don't know what the future holds for the non-charter entry. There's going to be a few races where they are going to have to try and race their way into the field. Granted, he's only made 66% of the starts so far this year, and he's still up in the top 12 in overall standings. But if he's able to get a second victory, think about this. If he can at least keep himself inside of the top 30 in points, it's almost, I can't say a guarantee, but I would almost think a guarantee that if you have multiple wins, you're inside the top 30 in points, you're getting at least one of those 6 wildcard spots in the playoffs. And Rodriguez is putting a little bit of distance between himself and Cody Lamas. See if Cody's able to reel him back in. Jesse Turner right there trying to snap a long winless streak. He's in that 3rd spot. Got around Dollarton just a couple of laps ago. Dollarton has slipped back to 5th as Dylan Young has moved up into 4th place. There's another driver that's looking for a second win on the season. I think we're going to have a number of multiple-time winners here in the regular season of Season 7. Drivers realizing that it's going to come down to a lot of wins or consistency inside the top 10 to get into the playoffs. There's Dollarton, Will Goss, 5th and 6th. Rob Evans right there in 7th. Evans has looked really good here today. And remember, too, that Rob Evans, his teammate, is Zachary Fitzwater, who won this race 1 season ago. You got to think that there was information shared from the 66 to the 65 and 6 teams. And maybe Evans can make it back-to-back seasons that an Evans Motorsports car goes to victory lane here at Indianapolis. 8th place just was exchanged between teammates. Austin LaPlante got around Benjamin Miles. Looks like Nick Gunther, despite that right side damage, looks like he is still up to speed, good to go. He's in that 10th position right now. Trying to see if these two teammates can sort it out. Quentin Moore coming off of pit lane, so that strategy did not work out for him. He was probably expecting a caution within about 2-3 laps of going back green. Now he's going to fall a lap down to the race leaders. With him pitting, that would put him able, I believe, to make it the rest of the way on fuel, as a little contact maybe there between him and Dylan Poteet's holding up these drivers that are in a battle, a neck-and-neck battle for 14th on back. McCrory, Bishop, Matthews, Poteet. And the 89's up to speed, so that makes him a little bit even more of a hindrance. As LaPlante again back to the inside of Benjamin Miles. This for the 8th position. They're losing touch with the top 7, which are still being led right now by Matthew Rodriguez. Cody Lamas looks like he may not have that good of a short run car, as he's now under fire from Jesse Turner for 2nd place. Moves down low, throws the block on entry to turn number 3. Almost got the wall there, did Cody Lamas, but he kept his foot in the throttle, trying to get a run on Matthew Rodriguez to get back to the point. Yeah, next week, double header for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers and the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers. First road course stop in the season at the Mid-Ohio Sports Course. Coverage begins Saturday afternoon with pole day qualifying for the Cup drivers. Then later on that afternoon, it's the Ultra Light Series drivers preparing for their 5th race of the season. And then 1 week from today, Sunday afternoon, it's the Duracell Cup Series drivers getting ready for their 8th race of the season at Mid-Ohio. Be sure to tune in for all of that. So it'd be very interesting. I think the most interesting part of the weekend is going to be pole day qualifying. Well, Matthew Rodriguez has never had a multi-win season in his career. He's run multiple seasons in a full-time chartered capacity. But now, you put the pressure on him. He's in a non-charter capacity, not guaranteed to make the field every week. And what does he do? He goes out and wins the biggest race of them all, the Daytona 500. He's up inside the top 15 in points, and right now, he's trying to hold off the advances of Cody Lamas to pick up his second win on the season in only 7 races. Cody, though, was able to break away from the third-place battle of Jesse Turner and Dylan Young, so now let's see if he's able to reel in the 80 car. Cody Lamas, his car kind of came to life on the long run after the cycle of green flag pit stops. Now as we're entering into a little bit more of a long run, let's see if he's going to be able to reel in Rodriguez in the Steak and Shake Toyota Camry. Matthew Rodriguez started very deep in the field here today, 35th. He's really the only Haas racing car that's got a shot of winning this thing. Matt Haas involved in an incident earlier on with James Qualls. He's been sporting some damage ever since, currently back in the 30th position, nearly 9 seconds behind the race leader. Let's watch this battling back here in this pack, third place on back. Chris Dallerton, Rob Evans both looked like they were going to try and make some moves there into turn 3, thought better of it. Evans will stay committed to the inside against Chris Dallerton into turn 4. Not going to have the momentum here, and that might catch him out. Dylan Young might be able to bypass him on the top side here down the front straightaway, but Will Goss, though, will offer the drafting help against his teammate to Rob Evans. And Evans will, I believe, complete the pass here through 1 and 2. Goss will do the same, dropping Dylan Young from 6th now back to 8th. Move Evans up to 6th and Goss up to 7th. Jesse Turner and Chris Dallerton, nose to tail, they've been able to reel Cody Lamas back in. Turner with the run, shows the nose. He'll look to the inside here into 3. Cody tried to pinch him down. They'll remain side by side here into turn number 4. This is putting a smile on the face of Matthew Rodriguez. Outside line, though, prevails. Look at that run Cody Lamas was able to get as Turner got tight on the inside line and stacked up everybody else behind him. This is bringing Nick Gunther and Austin LaPlante into the conversation now. Benjamin Miles as well as Jose Mills back there in 10th and 11th trying to close in on this group. Could have a pretty big pack here from around 3rd place back to roughly 15th, 16th, 17th place. Charles Sanford and Reggie Fogelman, they've got a chance to get up here and battle for a spot inside the top 10. Time is slowly dwindling away, though. Now, I projected that everybody would be able to make it the rest of the way on what they had on fuel for this restart. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody had to save. Oh, Cody's coming in. All right, so apparently I was wrong. Now, the reason why I was wondering about this was because in typical Speedway fashion, this happens at Auto Club, Michigan, Pocono, here at Indianapolis, when the field spreads out, the fuel window number decreases. When everybody's in a big pack at the start of the race, there's more opportunity to be able to get draft, be able to save fuel. But then when the field gets spread out like we see right here and we saw on those green flag runs, the fuel window can decrease by 2, 3, 4 laps. And I think that's what we're seeing here. So maybe everybody cannot make it the rest of the way on what they've got in the tank. And Cody Lamas throwing down the gauntlet for Matthew Rodriguez, going with the undercut strategy. We'll see if it works out for him. Rodriguez is going to stay out another lap. Jose Mills is in this time. Man, if Lamas can't make it, I don't see how anybody else is going to be able to save enough fuel to get to the end, but who knows? It's 3 to go. Do you have 7.5 miles of fuel still left in the tank? Rob Evans has now moved into 2nd. And he is starting to reel in Matthew Rodriguez for that top spot. Rodriguez had a pretty big gap of nearly a second between himself and the 65. I would wager visibly there it's been cut down at least in half. Evans could be on Rodriguez's back bumper when they come off of turn 4 with how much of a run he's got. But I think he's coming to pit road this time as the 65. Question is the 80 coming down ahead of him? Yep, Evans is coming to pit road. Rodriguez is coming in. Turner is coming in. Quentin Moore is going to stay out. Maybe the strategy will work out for the 89, as he was able to stay up in the lead pack. We'll have to wait and see. I think everybody else is coming in here. I don't think anybody is staying out. Waiting for official timing and scoring to tell us. I think Keith Batson and Nathan Ormond, I believe they've already made pit stops. They've just cycled back onto the lead lap. So where's the 84? There he is. Oh boy. Was this the race-winning move for Cody Lamas? Coming off of turn 4. Looks like most of the field is leaving pit road now. Let's see where Cody cycles to. 2 laps remaining. Be the white flag next time by. This really is going to be the pit stop for the win. There's Evans. There's LaPlante. There is Rodriguez. Cody Lamas is going to get the 48. Can he get the 80? He wants to get clear of that 48 before they get over here into turn 3. I think he is clear. Where does he go? Oh, LaPlante nearly gets into him. Moves him up the racetrack. Rodriguez is going to have to deal with Jessica Shelton. That could slow him up. He's going to have to get out of the throttle. White flag will be in the air this time by. LaPlante's clear into second. Lamas to third. It's going to be Matthew Rodriguez versus Austin LaPlante, and LaPlante's got a big run here down the front straightaway to turn 1. Rodriguez trying to block that inside line. Trying to not allow the 48. Caution's out. They took the caution. Never mind. Rodriguez has won this race under yellow. The caution came out apparently before the leaders hit the start-finish line to take the white flag. That was the caution to end this race. And Matthew Rodriguez is going to be a 2-time winner here in Season 7. This season has been insane. We've had 3 rookies go to victory lane. We've had 2 non-charter drivers go to victory lane. Now, our first multi-time winner is going to be a non-charter entry. We've had drivers end winless streaks, and we're only 7 races into the season. What more are we in store for here? With still 19 regular season races to go, and never mind the 10-race playoff system. Oh, man. Little disappointment there, though, because I would have loved to have seen how this was going to play out between Rodriguez and LaPlante, and if they raced it up, if Cody Lamas could get back into this conversation. But is this the victory that's going to put Matthew Rodriguez almost into a guaranteed wild card position later on at the end of this regular season? I do not know. But 2 crown jewel wins here in Season 7, the Daytona 500, and now the opportunity to kiss the yard of bricks. Matthew Rodriguez is going to bring it down to the start-finish line, and he is your winner at Indianapolis. Crazy race here today. Green flag pit stops in the final 5 laps. And Matthew Rodriguez is the first multi-time winner of Season 7. LaPlante in second. Lamas in third. Jose Mills will be fourth. And Rob Evans brings it home in the top 5. I think he could very easily be your new points leader going into Mid-Ohio next week. What happened to bring out this yellow flag? Let's see if we can determine that. Might have possibly involved the 19 of Carson Gum. The 24 of Reggie Fogelman had an engine expiration coming off of pit road, it looks like. Watch this as he drag races with Caleb Fogler off pit lane right there on the upshift. That's going to stack everybody up On this access road, leaving pit lane, Laura Chung, Dylan Poteet, Zachary Fitzwater, Mitchell Collins. Now watch further back here. As everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, they're all going to try and get around the 24. And somebody makes contact here. Right there. Quentin Moore gets into Laura Chung, who gets into Caleb Fogler. Mitchell Collins and Carson Gum sent down to the inside wall. And subsequently, Carson and Mitchell will finish last cars on the lead lap. Fogler and Chung lose a ton of track position as well, as Fogelman had to limp it back to pit road and actually finished this race with a DNF. Well, here is a look at the finishing results from today's event. Race ending under yellow, so 4 cautions during the course of this race. Matthew Rodriguez led 13 laps today after starting at the rear in the 35th position. Second victory on the season for the non-charter entry out of Haas Racing. He'll be back up in the top 10 in the point standings with this win, no doubt. And it's the first time in his career that Matthew Rodriguez has had a multi-win season in the Duracell Cup Series. We gave you the top 5. Kyle Matthews, great run there for him. Well-needed run for the former champion as he gets 6th position. Jesse Turner potentially could move up, maybe to 2nd in points. It was 20 points between him and Casey Hoyt for the points lead, and Hoyt finishes 19th. So maybe Turner might be 3rd in points. Nick Gunther, another driver that needed a good run. Strong entry today after he was out in front for 4 laps. He brings home an 8th. Will Goss, 1 week removed from his first career victory, brings home a 9th. And a good run for Anthony McCurry there in the 10th position. First time this season that both the Mazdas have finished in the top 10. Chris Dollerton, good run for him. He's going to be just outside the top 10, 11th. The Northeast Motorsports cars looked really good today. We had Austin LaPlante finish runner-up, and Benjamin Miles there in 12th place. Ryan Butcher, I don't think we talked hardly at all about that Gatorade Toyota this afternoon. He's going to bring home in 13th. Joshua Osborne and Reese Banks will complete the top 15. Dylan Young will finish in 16th. Charles Sanford 17th. James Qualls battled back after the damage he got with Matt Haas for 18th. Haas finished in 20th, and Casey Hoyt right between the two of them. The points leader finishes in 19th. Do not believe he'll be the points leader next week. Quentin Moore, who had that contact bringing out that last yellow, finishes 21st. RJ Bishop 22nd. Kyler Sustre in 23rd. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to still be in the top 30 in points after this one or not. Nathan Ormond and Dylan Pote completed the top 25. Then it was Keith Batson, Zachary Fitzwater. Levi McIntyre dropped way back after he was looking like he could very easily have been in the conversation for this victory. He finishes back in 28th. Laura Chung and Caleb Fogler in 29th and 30th. Last 2 drivers finish on the lead lap are Carson Gum and Mitchell Collins. Fogelman with that engine problem, 33rd for him. Jessica Shelton, last car to finish. She was 2 laps down in 34th. And then out of the race after the previous 3 cautions, Ryan Brommer, Connor Breton, Daniel Voiles, Destin Bolin, Cole Deaver, Michael Norman, Matt McIntyre, and Zach Rogers. Going to be some very bad points days for drivers like Bolin and Norman and Deaver, who were all up inside the top 10 in points coming into this race. Expect to see some new names potentially pop up inside of the top 10. Matthew Rodriguez, I think, will be back in there. Cody Lamas, Anthony McCurry, I think they may make an appearance up inside the top 10 in overall points as well. We'll have to wait and see. Points are close. We'll have to see what kind of moving and shaking takes place between now and next week. Next week, again, we are at Mid-Ohio Sports Course. First road course race of the season. It's a double header with the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers and the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers. We kick things off on Saturday. Pole day qualifying. Tune in for that. It's going to be maybe one of the most unorthodox qualifying sessions you will see all season. It'll get you prepared for what's going to be going down when they then get to Suzuka as well. Then that following afternoon on Saturday, it is the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers. So far, 4 drivers in the first 4 races going to victory lane. Austin Reed will look to go for back-to-back after his victory earlier on this weekend, yesterday that is, at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. And then Sunday, It is the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers for their first road course stop at Mid-Ohio. Should be a good one. First time Mid-Ohio makes its appearance on the Duracell Cup Series schedule. We'll see what it brings to the table. But thank you all for tuning in to today's race here from Indianapolis. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We showed you your full video results, and you are now looking at your point standings heading into next week. Matthew Rodriguez, 7 races into the regular season, is the first repeat winner on the year. The non-charter go-or-go-home driver makes good. He is 2 for 2 in the Crown Jewel races here in Season 7 of the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Until next week, though, I've been Seth Cole. We'll see you guys later. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.